Hello, I'm Murray Newlands and welcome to another episode of The Future of Engagement. I'm here with Tom Foremski, a friend of mine in San Francisco. He writes the well-known Silicon Valley blog, Silicon Valley Watcher. He was previously a journalist for the Financial Times and still contributes to CDNet and many other major publications. Tom, the future of engagement. How do you see agencies particularly engaging well with the media at the moment?
Well, in some ways, nothing has changed. I mean, it's still the same mechanisms of engagement are still valid, but the fragmentation of the media sphere means that there's more people to engage with, and some of them have smaller audiences, so that means more work for the agencies. And there's another thing in that it's difficult to reach these people because they're so they have to produce so much copy that they're not really checking their emails or picking up their phones unless they recognize the number. So there's a lot of challenges out there.
Who's doing it well and how are they doing it well?
You know, I don't know, because I only know from my own personal experience, so I don't know who's doing it well.
But who's reaching out to you well?
Well, the people that reach out well to me are the ones that I know well.
Okay.
Which kind of takes care of itself, and that's something which still hasn't changed. You still need to build relationships with people, because I won't pick up the phone if I don't recognize the number. And I know other people will do the same, and as for email, my email box is a mess. I rarely go there anymore, so it's a challenge for people to get hold of me.
So if I'm in an agency and I'm trying to reach out to the media in my space or in my space with relation to a client, how would I do that? How are you? Is it meeting you at local events? Is it meeting at vertical events? Is it connecting with you with Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Google+? How are you making those connections?
It's all of the above. You've got to take every opportunity you can to make those relationships. So it has to be Google Plus or Facebook or wherever. Now, people tend to hang out in different places, so it's not a one-size-fits-all strategy. But yeah, take every opportunity you can to build that relationship, and also build it outside of the agency. You know, I really love it when people call me up and say, "Hey Tom, let's get together, let's just chat. I'm not going to pitch you anything."
Right.
And I like that because we get to talk about the industry. They're not under pressure to have to pitch the message, and you know, that's how relationships are created.
So obviously you're producing a lot of content. You're saying you write several times a day, and you're always looking for new stories. Where are you finding those? How are you doing that content discovery for yourself in order to get the topics for your articles?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm always trying to have something nobody else has. You know, I hate repeating what's the news of the day,
yes,
unless I have some good comment or analysis on it. And I think that's true for every media site. They want to have something you can't get anywhere else. And so I'm trying not to write those obvious stories, those stories of the day. I'm not trying to be a journal of record. I know some publications do, they try and do everything. But I really look for things that, angles that people are pitching maybe that I haven't seen anywhere else before. So I'm always looking for novelty. Now, not novelty just for novelty's sake, it's got to be a really good story too. You know, and it's all the traditional ways of getting those stories, email, text, or whatever.
So, from your first comment, you made the observation that there are many more mediums and many more media, and with smaller audiences. So if you've got a story and you had a limited number of media, and you pitched to one of those media, you'd hit a big audience. And yet every media wants something that's unique. How's that going to work for the agencies trying to get the story out to the biggest audience possible?
Well, you can get several bites of the cherry. You can, if you work at it, find an angle for one side, a different one for another. Now, in a way, the journalists themselves, they should be looking for those angles. They should be saying, this is an important story because it means such and such for my sector, for my industry, for my community. Right. So really, you're going to be working together with the journalists to try and find an original angle. And yeah, that does take time, but you know, if you think the story is worthwhile, then you do take that time, and people do take that time.
And how do you see the developments in content curation? Because I know you do a lot of work in the content curation space. How do you see that affecting publishers, and where are you seeing advances in that?
Well, content curators are important distributors of good content. So they've become an important layer between the search engines and people's just kind of serendipitous discovery on the internet. You know, media and agencies actually also should do well to cultivate these content curators, because they do feel they have a responsibility to their communities, and their communities do tend to look to them more and more. So they are important, even though they might not create any content. Just by pointing to stuff helps. And
what content curation tools are you using?
Well, I've been using Poetries, but Poetries was a client of mine. I use Evernote, for example. I use pretty much whatever I have to hand. Really, I'm more interested in finding stories that I can work on rather than curating content for others. Twitter is a place where I curate a lot of content. I link to other people and so on.
And where are you spending your time online? Where are you engaging?
Not in my email box.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because but I spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Yeah.
Probably Facebook next.
Mm-hmm. Google Plus, has that affected you? Have you got into that yet?
I've tried Google Plus, but it's too much work, and it doesn't seem to work for me. I keep adding people to circles, and then they come back again, and Google's suggesting add these people to circles. It's not working for some reason, and I've complained to Google and so on. I've even written about it. Still nothing. So it makes me think that Google's not going to get social if it can't even respond to social. You know.
Tom, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Look forward to seeing you on another episode of The Future Engagement.